Well, I want to take another look at this, writing equations of lines from 2 points, and I want to look at it from the standpoint of things that you'll be doing as a geometry student. So you'll be looking at triangles, a lot of them, and you'll be learning things about how to find, I don't know, the middle of a side of a triangle. Anytime you're at the middle of a segment like this, it's called the midpoint, and you'll also be learning about finding the equations of lines that go through, like maybe this corner here, the vertex you'll call it, and the midpoint. That's actually called a median, and you'll learn about lots of different segments of a triangle. And in some cases you'll find the equation of them. And what you'll do is things like this. You'll be given, say, this point right here, 3, 4, and this point, 4, 14. And this point, let's see, that'll be 4, 12. Okay. And in lots of cases, they won't even show you the graph. They'll just say, hey, here's a triangle, and they'll give you the 3 points, and they'll say, please find me the equation of a line through here. Well, you'll use this skill where you know the coordinates here, and you'll figure out the coordinates here. For right now, oh, I got this wrong. This is not 4, 14, it's 14, 4. Okay, that was a fail. So you'll figure out what the coordinates are right here. On the graph, you could just count and see where it is in the middle if it's a convenient point. But what you'll learn is that you can find the coordinates there pretty easily. The x-coordinate here is the average of these two x-coordinates. Okay, so that's going to be 9. And the y-coordinate here is the average of these two y-coordinates, that one and that one. Okay, so that'll be 8. Okay, and then you'll use this skill where you find the equation of a line through 2 points, 3, 4, and 9, 8. Okay, so I'm going to step over here, and I've got those 2 points written, and I'm going to use the same technique we did before for finding the equation of that line. Okay, first of all, I need the slope, which is the rise over the run. Okay, to get the rise, subtract the y-coordinates. I'm going to write this as 18 minus 4. That's subtracting the y-coordinates. Okay, and 9 minus 3. That's subtracting the x-coordinates. Okay, so I get 14 here, and 6 there. Okay, I want to take a second look at the idea of writing an equation from 2 points, and I want to look at it from the standpoint of things you'll be doing as a geometry student next year. One of the things you'll spend a lot of time talking about is triangles, and you'll learn about various parts of a triangle. You'll learn to call the corners here a vertex, and the coordinates of this vertex are 3, 4. The coordinates of this vertex are 14, 4. And the coordinates of this vertex are 4, 12. Okay. And then you'll learn stuff like how to find the middle of this side right here. On a graph, it's fairly obvious where the middle is. You can kind of count in there and see where it is. But one of the things that'll happen is you won't necessarily be given the graph. You will just see the triangle like this. And one of the questions we'll ask you is, would you please find the equation of this line? Oops, have a little trouble here. Okay. Find the equation of this line right here that goes from, I'm having trouble grabbing my line off screen, that goes through that vertex and through that midpoint. Okay? The name of that line is actually a median if it goes through a vertex and then the midpoint of the opposite side. So we'll ask you to find the equation of that median. To do that, we'll use the skill where you know the coordinates here and you know the coordinates there, and you can find the equation from that. Okay? But you need the coordinates right here first. Okay? So one of the things you'll also learn is this. To get this number right here, the x-coordinate of the midpoint, all you have to do is average this 4 and the 14. So if you average those two, you get 9. Okay? And to get the y-coordinate of the midpoint, all you have to do is average 12 and 4, the two y-coordinates. So that gets you 8. Okay, so now our job is to find the equation of a line that goes through 3, 4, and 9, 8. And we're going to do that over here on the next page. I've got that written wrong. That's 9, 8, not 18. Okay, so to get the slope, first, we need to find the rise and the run in that order. So rise divided by run is called the slope. Okay, the rise, we can get that by subtracting the y coordinates. And we can get the run by subtracting the x coordinates. You'll notice, like I did before, that I subtracted in the same order, 8 minus 4, and then 9 minus 3. I could go the other direction, and I'd still get the same answer, but I just chose to do that to keep the numbers positive. So 8 minus 4 is 4, 9 minus 3 is 6, and that reduces to 2/3. Okay, so I've got the slope, and from what we've learned before, we know now that the equation looks like this. I just don't happen to know yet what goes in the last box right here, what this y-intercept is. Okay? But I do know this. If I put a 3 into my equation here, multiply it by 2/3 and add whatever this is, I'm supposed to get 4 because 3, 4 is on this line. Or if I put 9 in for x and calculate all this stuff, I'm supposed to get 8 for y. Okay? So I'll just pick whichever one I want. I'll use 3, 4. So I'll put in 3 for x, and then I'll ask myself, what is 2/3 of 3? That's 2. And what do I have to add on to that in order to get to 4? Okay, remember, if I put in 3, I have to get 4. So the answer is 2. Okay, so that's what goes in the equation right here. So now we've found the equation for this line that goes from one vertex through the midpoint of the opposite side. It's called a median. We found the equation by finding the slope between the 2 points, knowing that y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept. So we wrote that, and then we simply said, look, let's pick one of the x's, put it in for x, and the y that goes with it, and put it in for y, and figure out what's going to have to go here. So we put in 2/3 times 3, that was 2. And asked ourselves, what do you have to add on to 2 to get to 4? And that was 2. So there's the equation. So you'll be spending time doing that kind of thing. And I'm going to have you practice a little bit more of that just to make sure you got that. And then 1 or 2 more topics from things you'll see in geometry, and we'll wrap it up.